someone please tell me what kind of polynomial this is? How do you know it's a trinomial? There are three terms, right? Trinomial. Yes? Okay. So yesterday when we factored, what did we mostly deal with? Binomials, right? We either dealt with binomials or we dealt with 4, right? We either did difference of squares, sum of squares, difference of cubes, sum of squares, or we factored by grouping. All the difference and sums of squares and cubes, those are all binomials, right? 2 terms. Factoring by grouping, there were how many? 4, right? Which we grouped into 2. So we dealt a whole lot with 2 yesterday, didn't we? Okay. Today we're going to start factoring trinomials, right? There's 2 different ways to factor my well, there's actually a whole bunch. I'm going to teach you the way that I think is the easiest, okay? But there's 2 different ways to do it. I'm going to teach you both ways today, okay? One takes a couple more steps, but it works every time. One, you can do that fast, but it doesn't work every time. Okay? So I'm going to teach you both ways today. So for those of you who are taking the PSAT tomorrow, you already have this lesson for tomorrow, and you can just do the homework. Okay? You ready? First thing I need you to know is that this is a quadratic. It's a trinomial that's quadratic, and we've got to know that the general form of a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. Because for the way that I'm going to teach you to factor trinomials, we have to know a, b, and c. So I need you to know that a is the term in front of the x squared. I need you to know that b is the term in front of the x, and I need you to know that c is the constant, the term without a variable. Does everybody understand that? So if we're going to factor this trinomial right here, we're going to factor it by what we call the AC method. Well, if I'm asking for AC, what am I asking to do with A and C? Multiply them, right? Well, in order to multiply A and C, I have to know what A is and I have to know what C is so that I can multiply them, yes? So in this problem, what's A?
1.
I'm so glad you said that. What do you think other people have said? 0, because there's nothing there, right? But you know there's something there. Since there's an x squared term, doesn't there have to be something there? Very good. Okay, so A is 1. What is C? 12. So then what is 1 times 12? 12. And then I also want you to know what B is. 7. Okay? Now here's what I need you to use your brain and think of. What 2 numbers multiply to be 12 and add to be 7? I know not everybody had a chance to think, so I want you to think for just a second. Multiplies to be 12 and adds to be 7. Are you okay with 3 and 4? Okay, so after we do this part, our next step is to rewrite. Okay? First we find A, C, and B, then we rewrite the problem. I'm going to take this middle term right here and I'm going to split it into 2 parts. The 2 parts that you just told me. X squared plus 3x plus 4x plus 12. Does that make sense? Well, now there's 4 terms. Don't you know how to factor when it has 4 terms? What's it called? Grouping. So let's group the first 2 together and the last 2 together. What do the first 2 terms have in common? What can I divide out of each term? An x. Once I divide both terms by x, what's left? X plus 3. Okay. What do the last 2 terms have in common? A 4. If I factor out a 4, what do I have left? Isn't that good news? Yes, because what do these 2 terms have in common? An x plus 3. And if I factor out an x plus 3, what's left? X plus 4, right? That's factored. That's done. Everybody okay so far? Now here's what's going to happen. I'm going to show you another example that way. And then I'm going to show you the way that's really fast. Okay? Now, if you already see it, please don't shout it out. I want everyone to get a chance to think about this. Okay? And let's slow our roll a little bit on answering questions so that everybody gets a chance to think. You know that I love when you know the answer. You know that, yes? But let's give everybody a chance to think about the answer. Okay? So let's try this one. X squared minus x minus 20. So I need to identify A, I need to identify B, and I need to identify C. So in this particular problem, what is AC? Well, A is 1, and C is negative 20. That was correct. So what is 1 times negative 20? Negative 20. And what is B? Negative 1, right? So what two numbers multiply to be negative 20 and add to be negative 1? What you got? What'd you say?
This is the hardest part.
What'd you say? You're fine. What you got? Negative 5 and 4. Is everybody okay with that? For the record, that was a good amount of think time. So thank you for that. Because that everybody got a chance to think about it, right? Even if the first thing you thought of was wrong, right? You got a chance to think about it, yes? Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Now what do we do now? Rewrite. X squared minus 5x plus 4x minus 20. That's what you said, right? Okay. 4 terms. So grouping. Okay. What's common in the first 2 terms? What can I factor out of each of the first 2 terms? X. If I factor an x out of each 2 terms, what's left? X minus 5. What's common in the second 2 terms? A 4. What happens if I divide a 4 out of each of these 2 terms? What's left? X minus 5. What's common in these 2 terms? An x minus 5. If I factor in an x minus 5 from each term, what's left?
Is that always going to be a plus 6?
No, and we're about to talk about that. That's a good question. Okay. Usually at this point, someone says to me, does it really matter what order I put these in? Because why did I put it in this order? Because he said, that was the order he said, right? What if instead I said x squared plus 4x minus 5x minus 20? Isn't that the same kind of thing? A positive 4 and a negative 5? I just wrote the positive 4 first and then negative 5 first. Well, if I do that, what's common in the first 2? And what's left? X plus 4. What's common in the last 2? Negative 5. Right? Negative 5 is what I need to take out so that I get a parenthesis that says x plus 4. Right? What's common in these 2? X plus 4. And what's left if I factor out an x plus 4? X minus 5, right? Are these answers the same?
Yes.
Yeah. I've got an x minus 5 and I've got an x plus 4. Is everybody okay so far? Okay. Now, I think from the eye contact some of you are making with me that you have seen the shortcut. If you haven't seen the shortcut, if you have seen the shortcut, keep shushing, right? If you haven't seen the shortcut, can I show you? Okay. Let's go back up to this first problem. What I said to you was, what is AC? And you said 12. And I said, what is B? And you said 7. And I said, what two numbers multiply to be 12 and add to be 7? And you said what? What? In this problem right here, I said, what is AC? And you said negative 20. And I said, what is B? And you said negative 1. And I said, what multiplies to be negative 20 and adds to be negative 1? And you said negative 5 and positive 4. You said what? And what did I tell you about the shortcut, though? It doesn't always work. So the first thing I need to make sure you understand is when it works. Okay? So you've already seen these 2 problems
They work.
right? They work. Now I'm going to show you this problem, x squared minus 11x plus 18, and I'm going to show you this problem, x squared plus 5x minus 24, and tell you those also work.
No.
They also work. So I need you to recognize what is true about all of those problems. What's true when I multiply a times c here? I just get c. What's true when I multiply a times c here? I just get c. So what has to be true for it to work? A has to be 1, right? And in fact, your worksheet today is called Factoring Trinomials A equals 1. That's literally what it's called. So today, the shortcut is going to work all day.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. Okay? Tomorrow, your worksheet is called Factoring Trinomials A is not equal to 1. Okay? So tomorrow, we're going to have to use this longer way. But guys, really, is this a long? No, it's factoring by grouping, which you already know how to do. The hardest part for some of you is going to be multiplying a times c, right? We're getting better at our math facts, aren't we? Okay? The hardest part is going to be multiplying a times c, figuring out b, and figuring out the two numbers we need to use. After that, it's cake. I'm sorry for saying cake when I don't have any tissue.
It's not a mess.
Sorry. Okay? So can we do these two real quick before I hand out your homework? So I have to say, what is AC for this problem? Well, A is here, B is here, and C is here, right? So AC is 18, and what is B? Negative 11. So what two numbers multiply to be 18 and add to be negative 11? Yes, sir. Negative 2 and negative 9. I don't rewrite if I'm doing the shortcut, do I? I go straight to my factors, negative 2, negative 9. Done. Got it? Does that make sense? Okay. Last one. What's AC? Well, here's A. Here's B. Here's C. What's AC? Number 24. And what's B? 5. What two numbers multiply to be negative 24 and add to be 5? What you got? Negative 3 and positive 8. You okay with those two numbers? X minus 3, X plus 8. Done. Do you need me to do some more? I can do some more. You got it? Okay. You're feeling confident?